Right lads and man, it's Kebab here, and I've got a problem. See, with my unemployment, you'd expect me to be quite an active person, making good use of all my free time. You'd be wrong. In fact, my Wii balance board gets more use as a coffee table than anything, so I need a game that doubles as both exercise and entertainment. Wii Sports, a launch title for the Wii, and the best-selling console exclusive of all time. Don't believe me? Check your microwave. Everyone had a copy of this game. This game was the reason the Wii was considered a casual console. All it took was a couple swings of the Wiimote and hey, you're Tiger Woods. It was the reason people bought the Wii, and why half the Nintendo fans hated this console. Before we start, this game doesn't look the best. The Wii wasn't much more powerful than the GameCube, meaning this thing runs as well as your dad after 8 pints of Guinness and half pack of cigarettes. Pair this with the composite AV cables, the picture is about as clear as Nintendo's copyright rules. But this is Wii Sports. Half the people who bought this were parents who thought Mario was the president of Cuba. This was a game for everyone. Your aunt, your postman, Jesus. You wanted a true gaming experience in 2007 and Nintendo would have laughed in your face and thrown a copy of Wii Play at you. Wii Sports is a simple collection of 5 sports: tennis, baseball, bowling, golf and boxing. 3 of these could be played with up to 4 people, 2 using only one Wiimote, and boxing using the nunchuck. Which is kind of disappointing seeing as I have none. This game was really developed to demonstrate the motion controls of the Wiimote. It was basically Nintendo saying, hey guys, we spent millions creating this technology. It's definitely not going to be a gimmick shoved into every game. Tennis. Definitely the most competitive sport, being the only one you can play with up to 4 players at the same time. Single match, best of 3, and best of 5 are all available, and you can play with any combination of players and AI. You can even watch AI play against themselves. It's like real tennis, minus the loud grunts every time they hit the ball. You can also play against yourself, which is probably the single most disorienting thing I've done in my life. Baseball. I used to be great at this as a kid. Keyword is used to. I got the hang of it over time though. No, I didn't. Yeah, the AI is pretty bullshit with how well they can knock you out. Screwballs are incredibly overpowered. Fails on 90% of your shots. But hey, at least you can dislocate your wrist holding the bat. Yeah, there isn't much to this one. It's pretty fun for like 5 minutes. Bowling. A pretty simple 10 pin, 10 round game of bowling. Firstly, we've got to assemble a questionable cast of characters. Me, Nyan Cat, Obi-Wan, and Bad Literacy. Of course, we've the famous game of throwing the bowling ball backwards and seeing how many ankles you can break. And if you're good enough to get a triple strike, you get a turkey. From what I can tell, this was the most played sport. Partly because it's simple, and partly because you were gambling your TV screen every time you played without the Wiimote strapped to your hand. This problem became so bad in fact, that alongside other injuries and damages, Nintendo offered replacement straps. I didn't get the memo. Golf. This is the only game that benefits from you holding the Wiimote the way it was actually meant to be held. As a kid, I did not grasp the concept of holding the Wiimote straight, hence why I was so shit at this. But now, I play one-handed and eat a chicken sandwich in the other. But of course there's always one gripe with the motion controls, and this time, it's to do with putting. Maybe it's because my controller is almost as old as me, but this thing does not pick up speed at all. I swing it once and all of a sudden the ball is in Ohio saying hi to Scott the Woz. But besides that, this is definitely the game that works the best with motion controls. The final sport we have is boxing, and this one I take quite seriously. This is definitely the most complex of all sports, using both the Wiimote and nunchuck to punch, hook, uppercut and dodge. When it wants to. This game is pretty intense, but then again, I am unfit, so that's not really surprising. I mean, my me has a better body than me. But of course, this is where we face the elusive and mythical Matt, a man who could make Mike Tyson run to the hills. Did I defeat him? Each sport also has its own progression, with the end goal being to go pro. However, I'm willing to bet the average Wii Sports player probably believed this was a heart monitor. Training really shows the inaccuracies of the Wiimote, especially the nunchuck. We're presented with 15 challenges, 3 for each sport, in which you can achieve medals if you set records, but they're mainly just here to highlight how shit I am. Starting with tennis, we have returning balls. Pretty simple, timing your swings. That went well. Yeah, I played this 4 times and eventually determined I'm not very good at it. Targets. It was today where I discovered I'm not great at tennis. This is probably the most fun. Plus it proves that me's are superhuman with the ease I break this wall. Baseball training. Home runs. I was actually good at this one surprisingly. Timer hits well, and you'll have no problem with this one. Swing control. Yeah, the Wiimote still isn't accurate enough to pick up direction. Half the time you think you hit the ball perfectly, it ends up behind you. And finally, batting practice. Once again, not too bad. Could use more turkeys. On to bowling training, and we have picking up spares. That's great advice. Now I have 2 of these. Power throws. I love these overly excessive modes. I'd like to see someone who got a perfect score on this, because to have this amount of skill is difficult to comprehend for my tiny Irish mind. Spin control. This is great, till you get so good at it you can't throw the ball straight anymore. I haven't fully grasped how this works. It seems like the harder I try, the worse it goes, so I just started throwing the Wiimote. Golf training. Putting. I can't pronounce this properly. Yeah, fuck this mode. Hitting the green. The highlight of this wasn't the game itself, moreover the fact that I got a chip in. Only the second time in my life I've got one of these shots. Probably the easiest mode, yet I still managed to do shit at it. Target practice. Extremely fun. Pretty much all the golf games work pretty well, and the slower movements are easier to pick up for the Wiimote. Boxing training. Working the bag. Yeah, I love when my family walk in and see me doing this. Dodging. Yeah, my nunchuck for some reason reads my hand movements wrong and thinks I'm having a spasm, so this game doesn't really work that well either. Throwing punches. Funnily enough, I actually found the nunchuck more accurate here than the Wiimote and just sat there punching with the left. Daily training. You get 3 randomly selected games from across the 15 challenges, with your performance going towards an estimated age at the end, similar to Wii Fit.
Hey look, I'm middle-aged.
I wouldn't recommend seeing this as accurate fitness information, but I mean according to this, I should be balding already, so that's a plus. Wii Sports is an incredibly fun game, alone, with friends, or family, and that's reflected in this game's sales numbers. Yes, it was bundled in with pretty much every Wii, however, this game was the reason many people bought a Wii back in the day, and a reason many people sold theirs. See, Wii Sports has one glaring issue. Can you guess what it is? Motion controls were the reason this game sold so many units, but they also held it back in some regards. Now the game isn't at fault for this. The reality was the Wiimote wasn't accurate enough to pick up precise movements a lot of the time. Heck, many times I sat down and got a better score. Now this problem was fixed in this game's sequel, Wii Sports Resort, with the release of the Motion Plus accessory. Overall, Wii Sports Resort is the better of the 2 games. It has more sports, and most of them actually work as intended. But it's hard to deny the simple pick up and play nature of Wii Sports. This game isn't getting forgotten anytime soon.
Well, thanks to that, I'd have to work out for the next month. And today, I also learned a vital life lesson. Handling raw turkey is a gateway drug to food poisoning.